I was thinking about the physics stuff we were working on in class and thought I might try and make a kind of a football two-player game just to show you the kind of thing, just to recap a few things that are important and are useful. So I haven't finished it yet. I'm going to finish it in this video. So it's a two-player game. I've got player one is a sprite with a physics behavior. I haven't changed anything down there, I don't think. And player two is also a sprite with the same physics behavior, nothing different. The ball is physics. All of these things are also, of course, physics, but all immovable, so they don't just drop out of view. Because this is kind of a football game, I've put goals in. Now, these are sprites which are I've made them kind of transparent. When you do the fill color, you see this channel down here, this alpha channel, that's the transparentness. So if I think I made them like 50, and if I choose a different color, we'll see with the fill tool. Yeah, so just to get a bit of transparentness, probably what I would do when I'd finished this is change that back down to 0 and just clear it. Um, so then the player, you don't actually see it. It would be optional to have that. I use invisible sprites a lot to detect where collisions. So basically, when the ball hits the goal, then a point is scored, and that's what we're going to do in this video. Got a feeling I didn't rename this one. Always really important to name your sprites, as we know. So let's go and have a look in. Oh, let's have a look at what it looks like running so far. So this is it running. I'm going to use the arrow keys for player one. Player one, it rotates left and right, and you can see it's got a bit of momentum to the rotation. You can see what I'm using is the torque, which is rotational force. Um, and that is just kind of rotating. And then I've got an arrow key to boom, I'm playing football. And then I've put WASD. Oh my gosh, I'm absolutely out of control. WASD to control this one. Same idea. It's kind of fun because it's kind of chaotic. It doesn't work very well, and especially when I'm trying to do it as a two-player thing. Also, I don't have a reverse. I'm really going to need a reverse at some point anyway. So that's kind of what it looks like. It's not done yet. You can see the ball has just hit this goal. It hasn't actually achieved anything. Let's go and fix all of that lot up. So double check the things we've got in here. I've got a system on start of layout, set the world physics world gravity to 0. We want that. These are all the player one things. You notice I've added a comment here. I do this quite a lot just to keep things organized. I put all the player one events together. It's easy to add a comment. You just go in here, add a comment, and you can say this is perhaps going to be the scoring system or something. And then you just put it wherever you want it to be. I don't actually want that one, do I? Cut, delete. Yeah. So I've just done that to keep me organized. It's a nice thing to do. What have I got? Keyboard left arrow is down, so that's a rotational. Apply physics torque -5, so that's rotating it anti-clockwise, I'm pretty sure. And right arrow is down clockwise. And then I've got for player two A and D to do player two physics torque. The up arrow, that's to go forward. Now I've done the apply physics force. If we just go back to here, you notice that when I've set these up, if I double click the sprite, I am facing to the right. This is 0 degrees, and this is the angle that force will apply at if you don't specify an angle. And you'll notice this one is actually the same. It's facing to the right. I've just rotated it here so it looks this way. So it's a really key point that when you make your sprites, when you I can change that over here, can't I? Change it to angle 180. Yep. When you make your sprites, be really conscious of where we go for that. So where was I? Back in here with apply physics force 3 at angle. And then what I've typed in here is self.angle. This self thing is quite useful sometimes. It's just referring to the object the object we're currently working with. So self.angle is the angle that we're aiming towards. So it's going to apply a force at the angle that we're facing in the direction of. Works well. And then this one is on W. So that's all good. And then I've got this bit for goals down here, which I just started, just about to finish that now. I added a global variable for the player one score, initial value 0, just to remind you if I wanted I do want a player two score, which is a number, initial value 0. I've got that up there. and I've done it when the ball is overlapping goal 1. I'm actually sure that's the right one. I can always fix that later. I reset the ball back to the middle position and add 1 to the player 1 score. And I'm just going to Control C, Control V, and just change this to goal 2. Done. And I'm going to add 1 to player 2 score. Done. So I'm adding, so the scores are going to go up. The only problem is, of course, that I can't see the scores. So why don't we just go back in here and make that happen? So I'm going to add a text, is it? Yeah, text. A lot of people accidentally add text boxes, but it's actually a text that we need to add. So I'm going to call this one player 1 display score, and initial value will be 0. So we know that much. So that's going to go up there. Should I just make it a little bit bigger? Change that size 20. And if you resize it, it sometimes goes outside the bounds of, so you have to make the box big enough. That was 1, and let's do another one over here. And this is going to be 0, and it's, what was the format I used for this one? It was player 1, you know what, Control C, Control C so much, Control V, change that to a 2. What size did I make it? 20, wasn't it? 20. Resize that so it looks good. We'll get up there, and then we just need to update that down here. So when we get a goal, the might as well just do it right here. What are we going to do? Player 1 display score. We're going to do a set text, which will be equal to, and you see it's got a speech mark, so we could actually specify a specific text. We don't want to do that. We want to specify the value which has been stored in that player 1 score variable. So if I start typing, it's got player 1 score, that's the green variable thing, and done. And this one, Control C, Control V, drag it down, update it. This should be player 2 score, although actually this is wrong, isn't it? Because this is, I don't want it to be player 1 display score, it's player 2 display score. Set text, player 2 score. Yeah, because I've already typed it in. Feeling that will work. I guess we can test it, can't we? Let's just give this a shot. See if I can score a goal. Oh yeah, let's go. I'm absolutely, completely out of control here. Yeah, I scored a goal. I got a point. The ball got reset back to the middle. It didn't stop it from rotating, but kind of like the rotating thing anyway. All right, so that's just demonstrating a few things that you might have done last year, and also just a bit of stuff around physics. Cool.